Ladies and gentlemen, Impact Wrestling review. I am back once again. It was Impact After Dark. Strange start time, 10 Eastern. I came into the house around 6 o'clock. It's like, man, I need to get ready for Impact. I was ready. 7 o'clock came around. I turned it on for Impact. And I was like, what's going on? Oh, man, it's Impact After Dark. They didn't change the time slot. I forgot all about it. So I was 2 hours early. But Impact would roll on at 9 o'clock for me. And it was just a weird start time. I'll tell you how it affected me later on in the show. But we're about to hop right on into it. Feel free to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Feel free to follow me on Periscope. So, first up we had Scarlett Bordeaux. She came down. Her talent search is ever going. I'll get to that later. My goodness. She came down to watch the match. And the first match was Sami Callihan and Trevor Lee. And this was an interesting way to start off Impact After Dark. It was a good way as well because we have two phenomenal workers here, Sami Callihan and Trevor Lee. I knew it would be an excellent match. So I enjoyed this match very much. We had good action. I enjoyed, I think it was Jake Chris ogling Scarlett and getting into it with Scarlett Bordeaux. And they had to get his attention. And I mean, I thought the match was really good. It didn't go for very long, about 5 minutes or so. Sami Callihan would pick up the win with the Cactus Driver. And I think this is a good way for Sami Callihan to maintain momentum as he gets ready to square off with Brian Cage. I mean, Trevor Lee is on a slide, man. They really need to do something with Trevor Lee, but maybe we'll see something with Trevor Lee going forward. We'll see. But after the match, Brian Cage did arrive, and Sami Callihan tried to use the bat on him. Brian Cage actually took the bat and tossed the bat back at him, pulled a sting on him, for goodness sakes, like, come at me, bro. Come at me. And none of that would work as Cage would hit the F5, and that would be that. Dave, Chris, and Jake saved him from the Druid Claw, however. So we would move on, and King was very upset. He wanted to get at Conan, he wanted to get at LAX, but he couldn't put his hands on him. But he did say that he had a plan. After that, Gama Singh would prepare for his match with Rahit Roju by getting a massage. And Roju was like, man, how does this prepare me to face off with you? I thought that was pretty funny in itself. So after that, we had Eli Drake come down. He arrived. He talked about the ongoing lawsuit that he has with Impact Wrestling. And he said that Callis should get out of there. Callis said, well, maybe you should be a color commentator. Callis skadoodled out of there, got up out of there. After that, we would have LAX versus the Heavenly Bodies with Eli Drake on commentary. I thought this was a pretty decent match. The Heavenly Bodies had a spot where it looked like they were going to pull off the match and win. I really liked the Michinoku Driver splash spot that they had. I think that was the spot to where we got a real close near falls where it looked like they were going to pull it off. I thought this was a pretty decent match in itself. This was another one that didn't go for too long. LAX would pick up the win with the Street Sweeper. And I normally always trip up when I say Street Sweeper, but I didn't do it this time. So LAX picked up the win, and they maintained momentum, as it looks like this thing with LAX and the OGs is not quite as over as I thought it would be. So after that, Tessa Blanchard came down. She talked to Taya, and she talked about how she didn't need shortcuts to beat Taya. And it was on. You know, next week, we're going to have ourselves a little title match. Not even a little title match, a big title match. Tessa versus Taya, the rematch. And if you remember going way back when I was talking about Bound for Glory, I said that this was a feud that could go on past Bound for Glory. In one of my videos recently, I said that if Tessa won in a heel's way, this could go on, and here we are. The feud is going on, and I am all for it. You know, I love every bit of it. After that, Matt Sydal and Ethan Page ran into LAX. Sydal bumped his gums about the third eye. He came at LAX, said Conan did not care for LAX like Matt Sydal cared for Ethan Page. And it looks as if we're going to have a mini feud going here with LAX and Conan and, LAX and Sydal and Page, So I look forward to that future match. And it is a tag team face-off that I very much support. So after that, we had Moose and Killer Kross giving an interview about tonight, talking about what they were going to do to KM, and followed by, it was a decent enough interview. If they don't start calling Moose and Killer Kross Killer Money as a tag team, look, I don't even know what else to say from there. Look, they need to start calling those guys Killer Money because that is a money name. After that, we had Rich Swann and the Mac, Willie Mack. They was in the back having drinks on ice. They were talking about their debuts, and Willie Mack said that he wanted to face Rich Swann in his first match, his first singles action. He wanted to face off against Rich Swann, and he wanted to do it next week. It looks like that match is going to go down. I'm very much interested in that. Rich Swann versus the Mac. That is going to be a phenomenal match. Next week is just stacked. It's going to be stacked. After this, we had Rohit Raju versus Gama Singh. Gama Singh talked about how all of the people that he's beaten over the years, that led to Rohit Raju coming out. This match was, I kind of really thought that we were going to have the Desi Hit Squad beat down on Gama Singh finally in this match, but it didn't take place. Rohit Raju didn't want to put his hands on Gama Singh. Gama Singh was kind of rustling circles around him. I found that pretty funny at the least. I didn't really like the match. When it finally looked like Rohit would put his hands on him, we had a new person come down. I don't know the identity yet of this new guy. We'll see going forward. But it looks like we're going to have a new Desi Hit Squad. We had a disqualification. Rohit Raju won. The new guy started to beat down Rohit Raju. And then we had the new guy align with Rohit Raju. And it's apparent that this is going to be the new Desi Hit Squad. This match, this angle, I'm really not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm just waiting for the beatdown on Gama Singh. That's all I'm waiting on. After that, we had Johnny Impact. He talked about his match with Fenix. He talked about how Fenix was a phenomenal competitor and how he was ready to face off with Fenix. So after this, we had Scarlett Bordeaux in a bathtub watching the talent auditions, and man, they were just horrible. I mean, sheesh, the brother with the shirt off in the karate. I mean, come on, brother. Man, come on, dude. Come on, man. Those were just horrible talent auditions, but keep them rolling in. You might make impact. After that, we had Cameron followed by versus Killer Kross and Moose, and I gotta say that this was the time where the time slot was really starting to affect me. It was really starting to get to me at this match, and man, I never watch Impact looking at my watch or looking at my phone for the time. And this was one of the first episodes in a long time I was looking at my phone, and I was like, man, it's just 9:30. Man, it's just 9:50. And I was getting tired, and it was very tough, but I think this kind of affected that match because it felt like this match went on for a very long time. It got time, and normally I would like that, but it was just going and on. I mean, I like the spots where KM flipped over the top ropes, had the tope over the top ropes. I thought that he might have seriously hurt his feet on the guardrail. We really need to get some type of space between the guardrail and the mat, before someone seriously hurts themselves on one of these topes or are flying around on the outside of the ring. But as for the match overall, I enjoyed it very much. The flying dive that Falaba had off of the apron was pretty dangerous in its own right. And I mean, I gotta say that this was a decent enough match. I enjoyed it very much. We had Eddie Edwards come down and attack Moose from behind, and that was surprising. He just kind of came out of nowhere, for goodness sakes. And him and Moose fought to the back. At that point, I was thinking, okay, Falaba and KM are going to pick up the victory here, obviously. But surprise, surprise, Killer Cross would go on to choke out KM and pick up the victory. Very surprising, but Killer Cross picks up the win. He maintains it momentum. We'll see what happens with KM and Falaba going forward. After that, Moose and Eddie Edwards had a brawl outside. I thought Moose cut in too much offense to say that Eddie Edwards was just returning, but I enjoyed it. You know, I thought it was a good brawl. Eddie Edwards got the better of him, and Moose ran off to the inside. So after that, we had the video package on Jordan Grace. I cannot wait to see her debut. She's looking phenomenal, and it's looking like, I don't know if it's going to happen next week or the week after, but it's coming soon. So I'm going to assume that we're going to see her next week. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, we go on, we had Eddie Edwards backstage, and Alicia was going off on him, and all it took was one kiss, and Alicia was done. Alicia was like, okay, I'm good. And after that, we're going to move on to Su Yung versus Kiera Hogan. These two girls have phenomenal chemistry. The match, this is another match that didn't go for very long. But it was all about the angle, less about the match and more about the angle that they were trying to pull off here. And it was pretty funny to hear Josh Matthews and Don Callis talk about Su Young's glove. I always think that's pretty funny how they are just disgusted by it. But as for the match itself, it was really good. We had a spot in the match to where it looked like Ali was going to save Kiera Hogan. But Su Yung turns around and gives Ali this death stare, and Ali just backs off and just hightails it out of there, just scared for her life. So after that, Su Yung would pick up the win with the panic switch, and it was a solid match, but it was more about Ali and Su Yung. Who knows, maybe we get another match out of that. So after that, we had Johnny Impact versus Fenix, and this was just a phenomenal match. I loved every bit of it. It was the match of the week. Not only in Impact, but just all around, all promotions for me. Just the match of the week. We had so many great spots in this match. We had the top rope super Frankensteiner and from Fenix, and I thought it was just a phenomenal spot. We had the standing Spanish fly from Johnny Impact, and it was just great action. I enjoyed it very much. This was one of the ones that really woke me up. And I think with Impact at this time slot, they're going to have to put out multiple bangers and bangers of matches to keep people up, to keep people watching. This was a banger. And the pace of the match was so fast. You couldn't even sit down. You couldn't even catch your breath. I enjoyed it very much. The ending of the match was phenomenal as well. Fenix was going for the Muscle Buster, but Johnny Impact countered it. He would go on to hit the Starship Pain for the win. Just a phenomenal match. I enjoyed every bit of it. At the end of the match, the OGs would come down. They would lay the beat down on Fenix, but Pentagon would make the save. We have something interesting there. Pentagon and Fenix versus the OGs. I like that. We're keeping the feud of the OGs and LAX around and simmering, but we're moving on to other things in the near future, so I very much like that going forward. I thought that would be the end of the show, but we would cut to backstage, cut to Killer Cross, and he was talking to somebody, it seemed, and he talked about how he didn't like getting called crazy. And eventually, we cut down to a laid out Johnny Impact with the red X on his chest. Killer Cross laid the beat down to him. Now, I want to know, was Killer Cross just saying this to Johnny Impact? That's more like the result. Or was he talking to somebody that was standing right there? They left us on a hook right there. So I very much like that. I very much enjoyed that. We'll see how it all plays out going forward. I think that was a nice hook to leave everybody on. And I thought it was a really decent episode of Impact. It's just that I don't know how you guys felt about it, but man, it was really tough to stay up from 9 to 11 for me. 10 to 12 for you guys on the East Coast. It was just a really tough thing to do, but I thought the episode was decent, but the time slot really took it away from it, in my opinion. It really felt like a drag at times because we were at that time slot and it was like, man, it's just 9:30. It's just 10 o'clock. Man, so that really took away from it. Let me know your thoughts of Impact overall down below, whether that be on YouTube at OMGCoreyB, or whether that be on Periscope at 2SweetPod, or whether that be on Twitter at OMGCoreyB or at 2SweetPod. Let me know your thoughts on Impact. On that note, I am out.